Hey y'all, it's me again. I was just thinking, well, one, I was looking on social media and I've seen a series of posts that just kind of triggered something in me. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to make this a post. But this actually isn't the live stream that I wanted to do, but I do want to say this briefly. You know, I really don't pay attention to what these girls be doing out here, right? And when I say girls, I mean guys too. I mean, just like anybody, and I mean like artists. Like I know some of the names of who out there, but I can't tell you the songs that's on the top 40. I can't because chances are the music that's out today. Like say you got it's a good song or whatever. Say it's a good song, music video real cute, but it's like, what's the substance of the work though? Like what's the story that you're trying to tell? What's the message that you're trying to convey? Is it a story that's coming from you, or is it the story that the label wants you to do? You know what I mean? And why? Why does the label want you to tell this story in your art? Do you want to tell that story? And is that even your story to tell? Or do they want these people regurgitating the same talking points relating to elements of people in power? And at that point, I don't get motivated by what y'all be putting out here. Like, and this is why I can't, like, I really be wanting to like champion certain artists out here, and I'm like, oh wow, like okay, they're challenging the status quo. They don't sound like everybody else. Well, that's not true. Everybody sounds like somebody, quite frankly. You know, and I'm all right. I'm, if you can have a teleprompter like uploading images of my mind, you'll know who I'm talking about, and I'll just keep it specific. I mean, I'll speak it generally, but I'm just using this person as an example of something that we've seen multiple times. So, you have these new artists out here and they're dope, right? They got dope music and they sing well enough. And, and they got a look. They gotta have a look, right? But they're talented. And, and it's a certain style. And it's not like it's a style that we haven't seen before. Like a lot of these things we've probably heard, or people say like, oh, this is reminiscent of like old school music, because that's the thing is, I mean, that's like that's what we love Bruno Mars for right now, right? Like when Bruno Mars started, he was like this like acoustic pop kind of guy, and with the love songs for the ladies, and then he got into this whole like new jack swing vibe and like old school funkadelics, 70s kind of music. And even if you take it to different albums like the 24 karat magic, towards the silk sonic, so it's like different pockets of old school. um you know Silk sonic feels like more Motown kind of vibes with the matching outfits and the like performing in the studio looking vibe, but it's all like old school music nonetheless. It's not anything that we haven't already seen, right? Same thing with some of these artists that are out now, right? This new artists that are particularly being like pushed to the forefront, and that's cool. That's fine. Like, when you can't, well, not, I can't say can't, but if the best thing that works in the industry right now, whether it's music or film, is recreating something we've already seen that's been successful. I mean, hello, that was the formula for Bad Boy, right? Sampling all the old school records. I mean, most of why we love, and I'm not saying this as a bad thing, I'm just saying it because it's true. You know, um, why we love Mary J. Blige's catalog. A lot of her hits are samples of classics from, decades before. And she did her thing with it. And I love a lot of the Mary J. Blige songs. Don't get me wrong, But I'm just saying, like, the formula, if it works, use it. Like, recreate and resample something that's already been done that we know is a success. Right. So that formula, we've seen that multiple times in different ways. Hell, Juicy by Biggie. I mean, it's an old school sample. and that was the formula for Bad Boy Records, of sampling these old school records. Um, but anyway, so my point is that, okay, it's one thing to sample, but then I feel like it's another thing when the art itself is really just a recreation of another story that we've already seen. And that's where I like disconnect from a lot of the stuff that's out these days. Like, I don't care to know who's got what poppin' song is out. If I happen to hear it while I'm out, then I'll hear it while I'm out. But like, I'm not seeking it. I don't care to discover it. I'm not really listening to what's on the radio like that, because one, I'm not motivated by it and it doesn't inspire me. Quite frankly, it's probably, if I look at it and really hear it, it's probably something I've already heard before, or something that looks quite familiar to me. So I don't really care for it. But then, and it's frustrating sometimes where like I do see some artists that are like, like budding, that really have like potential of like doing and being great. And then, when I get into the nitty gritties of it, it's just like y'all regurgitating the same thing. And it's like, what part of this story is authentic to you? Like, is this your story or is this somebody else's story? Whose story is this? The McAllister family story? Because that's what it looks like. And it's like, okay, different pockets of it, different elements. Okay, this is the story from this time period. This is the story from that time period. This is relating, this person looks like that cousin, you know. But what's your story? What's your family story? That's what I want to see. But I get that y'all got to do that so y'all could be in the line with the things to get the awards or whatever, you know. But it's like, who's really doing art for art anymore? That's why I don't get like, sorry, did I say the quiet part out loud? Because that's what it is. How can we replicate the McAllister family and the art so we can be in alignment to get the awards? That's the play. That's the play. That's what it is. I mean, and I'm not getting paid for it, so why should I be quiet about it? I like, all I see is elements of my life and my family and everybody's art. And I'm just like, well, where's your story? Where's your art? Is this, in my thing is like, do you want to do this, or is this what the label is telling you to do? Or do you feel like you have to do this because everybody else is doing this? You know, anyway, I just wanted to say that. I know Grammys is here, and normally I'd be rooting for everybody black, but I don't know. I just want to root for anybody original. And chances are, if you got nominated for the Grammys, you might not be that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not talented people, but I'm just like, y'all all do the same thing. Y'all tell the same story. Y'all just tell it from different angles. And, who cares at this point? But whatever. I don't know. And especially if you know, try to tie me in any type of way, I'm not rooting for nobody. You know, everybody could lose for all I care. So I don't know, reparations. But that's just my PSA on that. Anyway, um, so today happens to be my birthday. Happy birthday to me! I made it to 30, y'all. Niggas was trying to take me out, but bitch, I'm here. So and we'll keep it cute for now. We'll keep it cute. Um, So yeah, I'm just like, for one, just very grateful to be in a like indoor situation right now, just relaxing, regaining my energy, regaining my um, you know, yeah, vitality and such. And things have been very interesting since being out here, right? There's definitely been its challenges and like, people trying to give me a hard time and just like limit my expansion in any capacity. But I just feel like, okay, there has to be a way beyond that, right? There's always a way. There's always a pivot. There's always a way. There's always, if there's a will, there's a way. And you know, I just think if people have to tap into a power source and limit that very power source, then chances are I just need to tap into the power source because I am the power source in my own life, in my own reality. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's just challenges, and of course, people are gonna try to like block it and such. But I'm like, how can you block me when I'm me? And y'all need me in order for y'all to do what y'all do. So, bitch, get off me, or I'll force you off me, one way or another. I don't know. Just like, what does freedom look like? That's my thing. Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's just like freedom. I feel like people get in this music industry because you genuinely probably want to be an artist and a creative, and you realize that you have to like sell a bit of your soul or somebody else's soul just to get by. But I'm just like, I know there's a way in this world where I can like elevate and not have to do that, you know. And I'm just like looking forward to ways in which I can lead a life of success and success and freedom where I don't have to compromise. Compromise. Eartha Kitt voice. Laugh in the face of compromising. Even though she's talking about love, I'm talking about life. Just and I just hope that I'm led on that path of success and freedom. I took a leap of faith because I believe in myself, and I know things were going to be a bit of a challenge. And I know it's not always easy, but I have faith in myself. I have faith in myself, and and I pray for one to like for God to open the roads of success and ward away all attack and all limitation, all stagnation, all haters, all death threats, all death attempts, ward away all of that shit. Just, I mean, hello, I've made it thus far. I know God got me one way or another. Even in the den of hell, I come out still looking this good. Um, Surviving, making it. I say in my song, I have this song, The Town. A lot of my music is unreleased, but it will be released and done right and in a way that you know, I'm excited about. But I say in this song, one, it could be like problematic because it seems like I'm coming after certain folks, and I am. That's true too. But the most important thing about that record that I say is, um, which part of the bar do I want to, insert? Brick City, how we hit 'em, where it began, where I landed on a planet from North to Trenton. The town made me Super Saiyan, defeated Satan. One of the games the Trenton Devils was playing. I'm just saying, when God made me, she wasn't playing. I'm a spiritual warrior that be slaying with the praying. Psalm 23 covers me because I'm blessed beyond comprehension. Bitch, you can't come for me. If you can't pass my class, go to detention. Bitch, I'm black, talented, and intelligent. Bitch, I got it out the mud, off determination. It don't matter what the situation. It's because I already won. I already won. All these mini me's is my sons. Bitch, I'm number one. Neo Mac, I'm the one. That's the most important part of the song. That's the most important part. Because I'm a spiritual warrior that be slaying with the praying. Like, it don't matter what comes up against me. It doesn't matter. Because, the warfare is spiritual. And I'm very much aware of that, right? And you have to be. You can't just go into this world naively thinking that everything is just like what you see it. There's more that happens in these realms. And if you're not aware of it, then you'd be caught up in some shit and you don't even fucking realize. The war is spiritual. Demons be out here lurking. And angels be out here too. Angels are out here. Spirit guides are out here. You know, ancient beings and deities are out here. And some of you might even be that. You know, there's so many moments, damn, is it 12 o'clock already? Wow, that's crazy. Um, yeah, I had slept most of this fucking day. Once I got here, I just took a nap. Hopefully the Illuminati didn't slip in. But I was gonna have a Matrix marathon, and I'm probably still gonna do that because I had some DVDs. I was mad that I left Harry Potter, but I was just like trying to pack light. The second time I left the house, right? There's quite a few things that I'm mad that I left, but even still, even now where I am in my journey, I still had to leave more stuff. So it's frustrating. But whatever. Eventually I'll be able to like, you know, get my own home, get my own space, and just be able to retrieve like all my belongings and, get everything. Cause I have some stuff in storage and I have, stuff just like I see it that I'll be able to get all my things, and retrieve it and just have all my things set up, and then whatever like needs to be replaced I can do that, just because my records, the thing is the records are fine, like the records are good, it's just the fucking album covers and the cases of my records got messed up or whatever, but it's okay, whatever. um but yeah, like I look forward to like figuring this thing out, and I will, because I'm just like, I refuse to live by the limitations that other people try to place on me when I have this talent and this power within me, right? My gift to myself was a warm birthday, and I did that, and I'm grateful. I was like, look, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to be like 70 degrees out here. Okay? I don't care what I got to do, but I will experience a 70-degree birthday. That's the only time I'm repping 7. So, and sure enough, and ultimately, I really wanted to go to the beach or whatever, but my finances have been a little tight lately or whatever. But that's fine. And there's solutions for that too. Like one way or another, like I'll figure out like ways to get my finances back up because I'm responsible when I have like a solid source of income, right? You know, when I was working full time and getting paychecks like every 2 weeks, and I was getting paid at least like over $1,000, maybe like 1,500, something like that. Maybe a little less than that, but or more, who knows? But I know it was definitely over 1,000, like every 2 weeks. You know, I was paying my bills. I was investing in myself. I was covering expenses, making sure like everything was good. Like my bills was paid and I had low debt. Like my credit cards was paid on time, early, and I was chipping away at the debt that I had, if not being able to dispute it off completely, So, I mean, it's not like I feel like there's like stigma against people who like go through hardships or whatever. And and there's judgment about people not having their lives together. And but my thing is like it's not a matter of like whether people can do it or not. It's just like having the resources. Cause I know like once I have my resources, I'll be having it together. Like when I have money, and the thing is not just like enough money, like more than enough, like abundance, just like exceeding your expenses. That's when it's like I'm good because like I can pay transportation or whatever, get where I need to go, but then I could pay my bills and save, right? Like saving is easy at that point. And a lot of times I like there's this book, The Richest Man in Babylon, which was a book that I left, which is actually no, I was gonna bring that book, but I just wasn't able to bring the bag that I wanted to bring with me at the time. I should have just like figured out a way to just like grab it and take it with me. Um, yeah, I'm kind of upset about that, but it's okay. Um, but that book kind of teaches you to be disciplined with your finances and save. And I know I haven't really been able to do that so much these days, just because like, when you're like at a space when you're like, you know, not just paycheck to paycheck, but dollar to dollar, just trying to do simple stuff like move around and eat. And and it's not like I'm not out here hustling. Like I'm out here pushing my products and selling my CDs, and it's just like, okay, in a major city nobody's buying anything, like get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So like I'm just like it don't make no sense how in a small town like College Park, Maryland, there's more motion and more sales and more opportunities and more people supporting and more people buying and more people donating, like, than out in a major city. Yeah, no. But I understand like in some spaces like there could be like energetic blocks, but I'm like, nah, clear the roads. Like clear the roads, And but whatever. It's okay because I'm like, all right, then maybe this just isn't the space. And that's fine too. I understand that there's maybe I need to okay, I kind of answered my own question. Well, it wasn't really a question, but it gave me a reminded me like, that I need to look at my cartography. I think that's what it's called, where you see like locations that best align with your journey based on like your astral reading. I need to tap back into that right now. Because like even though Maryland had its challenges, like there was still so much that I was grateful for while I was out there. Like people like being really supportive, people buying the CDs, donating. And even though like some people bought CDs for their own motives, like, let me buy this at 444 so maybe certain people will win. No. Um I get it, but no. Um no, I won. I is Nerisse. But anyway, uh yeah, so just like people out there. And even at times when days were slow and there were some folks that was like, oh, I ain't got it right now, or like, oh, I'm a struggling college student. But I'm like, the very first time I was really like out there pushing my products, like it was a bunch of college students that was like, oh, you need this? Like, cool. And don't get me wrong, like I know there might have been some energetic forces, help pushing for sales and stuff like that. And I'm like grateful for that. But it's like, I could be my own energetic force. Just like because it takes me being out there, and telling people about my songs and my music and like, and my products and stuff like that. So and and it's not like I'm too good to do the work. Like even being who I am, I'm still out here, like in the trenches, putting the work in. And it's not like I'm not willing to do that, but I know I have to like elevate past that and do something different. Um, so right now I'm like putting together a show, and I'm really excited about it actually. You know, I'm because and the thing is, I have like two different shows that I could do. Like I could do like the real laid back, guitar, like more slower songs, mid tempo kind of vibes, and not just guitar songs, but there's some like songs with production that are like that too. Um, and then I'm like, okay, I have more like upbeat, more not electronic, but like more synthesized R&B kind of vibes, And what's cool about it is that like I feel like I don't really hear anything that sounds like it, you know. And don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it is like Down to Mars inspired for sure. And it just so happens that I was like including some Down to Mars songs in that set because I'm like, look, I wrote these songs, right? I wrote these songs, and they're songs. Some of them are songs that like we came out with, and then not only that, but like some like even when we were a group, we were performing songs that like technically hadn't been officially like released that we were still working. So I'm just like, and it just like for me, it's just until somebody lets me know that they got a problem with it, you know, somebody I've tried to reach out to multiple times, just respectfully and just to see if motherfuckers is alive. Um, it just so happens that like some of my older music just expresses how I've been feeling lately and feeling today. Like, just certain moments where I've had to be like more aggressive and more on my P's and Q's because of certain situations. So it's certain things where like, you know, I feel like I keep protection on me if need be, cause bitch, I can't see in the dark when niggas be locking in the streets, trying to plant a beat down. I'm trying to tell you, bitch, I got the heat now. Respect my crown and integrity. Bow when I'm just trying to write the beats. How you gonna try to come for me when Queen Reese run the motherfucking town? Can't stop and we won't stop. Won't stop till I get a made back on the whole block. And I'm repping from the hilltop. Still, worth the Jen and Jason. Bless him with the short shot. There's days where I feel like that more than I felt when I actually wrote it. You know, back then I didn't need to keep protection on me if need be, because bitch, I can't see in the dark when niggas was lurking in the streets. Niggas wasn't really lurking in the streets like that back then. Now niggas be lurking in the motherfucking streets. I don't know. Maybe did I manifest that? I don't know. You know, either way, I do keep protection on me if need be, and that could be a lot of things. You know, but that resonates with me, and it's a part of my story, it's a part of my truth, it's a part of what I'm going through. And I'm like, it's just like, look, if certain people gonna feel away, they're gonna feel away, but like some of these songs just really resonate with what I'm feeling and what I've been going through, especially songs like Creeping. Or it's just like, lyrically I say not good enough even when you work the hardest from all your peers and no one seems to care you know I've constantly been through situations like that, you know, and I know I'm not the only one that's ever been through stuff like that, you know. And so essentially I'm like, look, there's just some Down to Mars songs. And technically Creeping is out. Like it was on streaming platforms, but then they took it off because we didn't renew the fee for it. But it's on SoundCloud. So I'm like, you know what? It is technically out. So I'm just going to include that. Um, you know, and I really want to put together a show that just like exemplifies like what I've been feeling in a really authentic way that resonates with people that may go through their own struggles, that knows what that's like. And even songs like Breaking Out the House, you know, yearning for the life you're wanting while facing their taunts and their judgments on you, trying to stay sane, fighting every day while hiding your pain, you know, just trying to keep these bitches out your brain, you know. I know there's people who know what that feels like. And I'm grateful that I was able to make it into like a upbeat record. It's a house beat, and it's the Jersey in me that loves house music. And it's a song that you could bop to, and it's like, yeah, it speaks to the things that we go through, but like, we could dance through the pain. And yeah, so anyway, I say all that to say, like, I'm because I care about the music and I care about the art. And and sometimes I feel like, damn, like maybe I need to be structuring my project in a way like kind of what everybody else is doing with these talking points and energetic, tap-ins and opening portals and such or whatever. But I'm like, I don't need to do that because I am I am the source. Like I can just speak it and it happens, you know. And there's multiple times where I've done that. There's times where I literally just said something and it manifested, and I didn't have to do all the extra shit that everybody else was doing, you know, because I'm me. I am the source, you know. Like I don't have to follow what y'all are doing because y'all are following what I'm doing, you know. And I mean, of course, there's better ways that I can manage it and like tap in and really know exactly what I'm doing and then protect myself and set up boundaries and barriers where it's like you can't tap into my energy. And yeah, like okay, it worked that way before, but it doesn't work like that no more. And yeah, you can create these imageries in my face and like, reenact certain things, but it's like that don't work no more. Things outside of myself doesn't affect my reality, but the things that I want to affect my reality because I say so, or I create that imagery, or I decide in my mind that that's what I want to manifest. That's what works. You know, like I'm in control of this thing. I'm the authority. What I say goes. And you know, Billy Bob up the fucking street can't just tap into my energetic force because no, I said so. And whatever structure was built in a way for people to just be like so invasive, like that's done, that's destroyed, that's dismantled, that's over, that's canceled, that's failed, doesn't work anymore because I say so, and I'm taking control of my life and my energy and my power. It belongs to me and it's mine, even if this particular lived reality is supposed to be an entrapment, just existing in this vessel, for those who believe in reincarnation and stuff like that. I know this is getting very woo woo, but I don't care to speak with barriers and code because I don't live in that reality with you people. And I know it's easier to do that and it's cool or whatever, but no. Like I live in a reality when we say the quiet part out loud because we know what it is. We know a lot of the stuff that we've seen in science fiction is real life. We know there's people with powers out here and the ability to affect the weather and make it sunny, make it warm. you know we know that there's technology that does that, government technology and extraterrestrial beings. Like we know this to be true already, you know and there's been Congress hearings of people acknowledging and speaking about not UFOs, but what is it now, um OPAs or whatever. Olivia Pope Associates. No, that's not what it is. I think it's UPA or AOP or the unauthorized flying out or whatever they call it, because UFO now has its own like stigma and like belief of extraterrestrial beings, and we know this. We see that. Um, so yeah, I refuse to like be in the closet with y'all. Y'all talk like y'all in the closet and scared to come out. And I talk like I know like we know what it is. Cause who set up that closet? Who told y'all to speak in these codes? Cause I don't follow their rules. I don't live by their rules. I don't live by their limitations. I don't live by their codes and their oppression. No, I speak the truth out loud. And every now and then I could be wrong or whatever the case may be, but I live in a space of freedom, even when I deal with difficulties, because at least that's a bit of freedom that I have is in speaking the truth and, speaking it out loud. So yeah, we know it to be true. Y'all know it to be true. I mean, hello, y'all got the talking points all in the art and the movies and stuff like that. Trying to tap into my energy to elevate your project. But I hope everybody loses. Unless you want to run me a check. You're not paying me, but you paying my family to tap into my frequency. Well, I hope the project fails. Because that business model is going out of business. It's just not going to work anymore. There's not going to be a foreseeable future where that business model continues to work. It's just not going to work. I'm like, it's not going to be good luck for your project. You know, it's not going to be like a success story. You're not going to get your awards. You know, you're not going to get your box office success. Like, no, it's going to fail. It might work a little bit. It might get you in the door and get people talking about you or whatever the case may be. But no, like, nah, that business model is just not, it's not going to work anymore unless you reach the source and you contact the source and you negotiate with the source. You work a deal with the source. But them people and that business structure and how people do things in this industry and off the backs of the source, no, that's going out of business. That business model is out. It's done. Finito. Canceled. So I mean, I know people trying to milk it out and do what you can while you can, but no. I hope it all fails. I hope all these business negotiation fails and you lose out on money and it's a bad investment. Yeah, all of it. And motherfuckers just don't even care to negotiate and don't even care to do business with them people because it's not going to work and Narice is going to sabotage it until y'all work with Narice and give Narice the credit because y'all be copying from Narice, y'all be replicating from Narice, and y'all need to be paying Narice and giving the credit to Narice because the structure of people replicating elements of my life, working with my family, and trying to limit and stagnate me, that's done. It's finished, it's over, it's canceled. That model is destroyed. I don't live in a space of limitation. I rebuke that. I cancel that. But I open the roads to success and opportunity for myself. And maybe people need to find different career paths or something. I don't know. But I refuse to live in a world of other people's limitations. Like, no, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit because I am the sky. Well, not really, but not when I order food. But I mean, the sky's the limit and there is no limit. There is no limits in my life. I live a limitless life. You know, if certain spaces aren't creating opportunities for me, all that lets me know is that this isn't the space that's worthy for my collaboration. And that's okay. Their loss. I just need to relocate and find a place that's appreciative of me, that values me, that uplifts me, that encourages me, that values my safety, that invests in my protection, that elevates me, that teaches me, that looks out for me, that enhances me, that, you know, fulfills me, that empowers me, where I can master my own reality. And that just, any rejection or stagnation, I'll just take that as a positive to let me know like this isn't the place. They're not worthy of you. And that's okay. Because I know I'm of value. Clearly. And they do too. But it's just not for them. And that's fine. That's fine if they don't get it. If it doesn't resonate. But there are spaces where it does. And there are people who get it. There are people who support and who encourage and who look out for and uplift and and want to see me win and help me to win. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful and I'm extremely blessed. But I don't live in a world of limitation anymore. God opens the roads for me. You know, the roads are open. All blockages, all limitations, all stagnations, all hindrances, you know, fall away. And you know what? Even like I spoke earlier to like an experience where I was in the library and people was just like complaining about every little thing I was doing and it was irritating. But the one thing, the one thing that I would take as a positive out of the negative was like, oh, the guy that was like, oh, you can't be watching YouTube videos. You have to be actually working on a project. I'm like, bruh, I'm researching for my business. I'm actually looking up like, okay, ways that I can like break into the industry or whatever the case may be, right? And so, but I'm grateful for that because you know what? I do need to be working on projects. And it's a bit of a challenge because like, I'm building and working towards stability in my personal life so I could be in a space where I can focus on my creativity and and be in a space where I can just like be thriving and let my light shine and like and spark creativity and actually be able to focus on the projects that I want to focus on. But I'm you know overcoming survival mode so I could be in a space of thriving. And you know in doing so, I was like, you know what? Let me start working on a project then. All right, cool. I got footage that I need to edit, or not need to, but wanted to edit. And it got me back into Adobe Premiere for like 2 seconds, even though half the features in that app needed to be improved, but that's fine. And so yeah, I was like, all right, even though this person like, trying to like nag and infuriate me and all these things, but I'm like, nah, I'm not even going to get upset. I'm not going to wild out because I know that's what y'all expect from me. But no, you don't get that energy from me. You don't get my rage. My rage is intentional. My rage is, methodical. And well, it needs to be more of that. But I'm like, I know y'all try to intentionally enrage me and get me emotional because that triggers up something. And especially if it's benefiting other people, and it's like, no, not no more. You're not just going to upset me for no reason and use my energy to no, that's no, we're not doing that. But I will use my rage and fuel it into my creativity, into my into strategy, and use my rage tactfully, and be more intentional about my rage. I'm not just going to be out here letting y'all just like drain my energy. Absolutely not. And if you try to drain my energy, you only get the worst of me. Like you don't get my glory, you don't get my success, you don't get my power, you don't get my ashe. No. Like if you want to drain my energy, you get the pain. You get the ridicule, you get the abuse, you get the attacks, you get the stress. That's what y'all could get. you know you want to tap into my energy and reflect my life. You get the awkwardness, you get the uncomfortable, you get the stress, you get the financial strains. That's what y'all get. All the things that y'all try to do to keep me at the bottom so y'all can thrive. No, it's topsy-turvy now. The tables are turning. It's my turn. It's my season. you know it's my turn. It's my season. What Stormy be saying? I'm the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. I'm the lender, not the borrower. I'm a champion. I'm a victor. I'm a force for good. You know, it's my turn. It's my season. Everybody else, they had they run, and that was cute, respectfully. But now it's my turn. It's my season. I'm calling my power back to me. You don't get to just upset me and get me to be enraged so you can like trigger my energetic points and get like certain neurons firing off in my, hippocampus or whatever. Like, no, that's not how that works anymore. I'm in control of my emotions, and I channel my emotions in a way that benefits me, where I can express myself creatively or I can use it strategically in ways where it elevates my life and my career. And, and I outsmart you motherfuckers. So, yeah, I took that moment and I was like, look, I'm not going to let y'all piss me off. If anything, I'm just going to take the things that I have and start to work on a project. All right, that's why I can sit over here. Cool. And even though the lady said like, "Oh, you got 3 hours to work on a computer," and it was only two, and I was like, "Whatever, I can make a big deal about this," but I'm not, because I know what it is. I know what y'all got to do. Like y'all have the resources there, and and it's like just to kind of give you a little bit, but then everything just slowly but surely be like, oh, it's here but you can't use it, or you got to do this in order to get here, or you got to go to this class in order to get to this room. Oh, and if you're in this room you can't do this but you can do this. Like, have it there, but then setting all these like little roadblocks and limitations, so you're here in the space to be creative, but you can't fully express yourself or fully use the resources that's available to you. So there's always that game of like, you know back and forth, or it's here but we're constantly moving the carrot to get you like, you know chasing, or whatever the case may be. And I cancel all of that shit, man. I cast all that shit down. you know I'm not playing those games anymore. Like, I'll use what's accessible to me, and it's like, all right, cool. They got the resources for me to edit, and so I'll edit. And I'll work on a project. That's fine, because that's something I wanted to do anyway. And and it gets me back into relearning how to use Premiere, and tapping into those skills as an editor. Because like I say, when I pitch my product and I tell people I'm a singer, I'm a writer, I'm a director, I style, edit, produce, play guitar, and I do all those things. And not only will I hone those crafts and continue to elevate in all those titles, but elevate as a business owner and as a CEO and as a president of my own company, and build it to a level of success, not just operationally but financially, and create an empire for myself. And yes, I'll be grateful for the resources that are around me, and regardless of whether it's like limited or not, I refuse to live in a space of limitation. I refuse to see limitation. I just see, oh, this is just an opportunity for me to elevate. This is an opportunity for me to you know make the best of myself. This is, I could take the little bit of whatever crumbs y'all got and make it into a 4 course meal. And I mean, historically, that's what Black folks are just excellent at doing any fucking way, right? They give us the scraps, and I mean, we come out with soul food. And I know how to do that in real life with actual food. It's like, all right, give me a little something, something. Like I did that with Thanksgiving, even though I wasn't able to make like the full like Thanksgiving meal that I know how to do. I'm like, all right, I'll take a little, you know, some of this stuff, and I transmute it into something that benefits me. I transmute it into something that works in my favor, and somehow, some way, like it's gonna work out. Like I know it will. It has to. It's the only option. Like success is the only option, and the setbacks, there's usually beauty in it. There's usually a lesson. There's usually something for me to learn, and that's what I receive. You know, so yeah, I'm excited about the opportunities that are coming forward. I'm excited about moving out of a space of stagnation and moving to a space of thriving, and things working out, and opportunities presenting itself, and people like assisting and collaborating and supporting and purchasing and donating and uplifting and encouraging. I look forward to that. because that's the reality that I live in. And, anything other than that is just a sign to pivot, a sign that there's better for me somewhere else. And that's okay. I'm like, all right, this ain't it, but I know there's better for me elsewhere. And, may I be in alignment with that. May I be in the path of the things that are, you know, that benefit me. And I look forward to that. I look forward to elevating my life and, and getting back to the things that really matter and the things that I'm good at, you know, especially like once I, get everything settled up so I can get a place and, and like build this and really create a source of consistent income. Cause I know I can do that for myself. That's not hard to do. It's easy. It's easy to have income. Income is easy. And, finding stability, finding shelter, and, a home of my own where I'm safe and protected and, and I have privacy and I could do my work and create and, and make my own food and I ain't gotta, spend money buying out all the time and I could buy out when I want to, you know? Like I know that's in alignment for me. I know that's in alignment for me. Ain't no other option. It's just, part of the journey. And, I pick up the lessons and challenges to elevate myself and build myself in the midst until I get to that point. But I'm already at that point. It's just a matter of space and time catching up. And that's that. So, I look forward to things working out and things coming together and, everything just being what I need it to be from my life. And of course, there's going to be like challenges and people want to you know, try to like block it or whatever. But like, I rebuke any plans of the enemy. I, I disrupt and dismantle and destroy all plans of adversaries and enemies and anybody trying to come up against what God has for me. It's not going to work. Every trap that people try to set for me is a trap that they fall upon to themselves. Any attack on me is an attack on them. Anybody trying to attack my health or attack my well-beings or my creativity and my projects, they just loop that back to them because I like messing with me is just an immediate return to sender. Like I'm a mirror. Like what you do to me is what's going to happen to you, if not worse. So be careful with how you handle me. The ill will that you wish upon me is the ill will that will be, set upon you. The attacks that you place on me is the attacks set on you. You know, the blockages that you set on me are blockages placed on you. The limitations that you set on me are limitations placed on you. So, either be on the winning team and, move out the way or help present an opportunity or lose. Because that's just what it's going to be. That's just what it's going to be. Try to block my road and you're going to be, I don't know, dangling somewhere. I don't know. That's what happens, apparently. So, and my thing is like, I don't do anything to try to like block other people unless you're trying to block me. But, if you're trying to help me win and make a way out of no way and create a level of success, then, that's the energy that you're going to be met with. Like, treat me how you want to be treated. You want to be safe. You want to be protected. You want to succeed. You want to be elevated. You want things to work out for you. Well, that's what's going to happen. Because like I said, that old model is going out the fucking window. That oh, we got to keep this person at the bottom and have them fueling the business, and we like, use them as an energetic, wastebasket for the things that we don't want. We put that on this person. Like, no, that shit is canceled. That shit don't work. That shit is only putting bad luck and curses upon yourself. For all the things that you try to use as energetic waste and dump on somebody else to try to like create a better reality for yourself, you're just setting yourself up for failure. You're only cursing your life. You're only cursing your energetic karma, Because what you try to put off on somebody else as bad luck, or, like, oh, let's have this person farting for a period of time so I don't have to fart. I know that sounds crazy, but it's kind of like that saying of like, what this person eat don't make me shit, or whatever the case may be. But you try to get this person to eat and shit and all, like, it doesn't matter because it's gonna come back to you. It's just going to come back to y'all. Like, that's just really what is going to be. And and even if that's something you've already done, and it's worked out for you, like, no, it's going to come back to you eventually, even if it takes 20 years, 2 years, whether it's 2 minutes, it's going to come back. So you might have thought you was good, you may have made your investment with them people, or whatever the case may be, but just know that's a failed investment. Even if you've seen success from it, that success is going to come crumbling down. So, I mean, enjoy it while you got it. But just know, like, any hindrance to another person trying to elevate yourself, you may be elevated for a second, but what goes up must come down. The pendulum is going to swing the other direction. It's universal law. So where you think you swung and you up, just know the pendulum is coming down. And I'm just letting you know now, it's happening. That's what's happening. That's what's going to happen. That's what's already happening. It's what's been happening in all space and time. The pendulum is swinging. And I'm just, dare I say, shout out to the sweater messenger. I'm just the messenger. Not just the messenger, but the enforcer. Yeah. So just know, I mean, while you up, just prepare for the landing because it's going to come down. You know? Yeah. Yeah. That's what's happening. So I mean, and isn't that in the Bible too? There's like a saying where it's like, those who are last are now first, those at the bottom are now at the top. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. That's what it is. That's what's happening right now, right in this moment. It's what's already been happening. What's gonna continue to happen. So yeah, I don't just be ready when it does. If it hasn't already. Some people already seen it. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes it's like right now. And then sometimes, it take a little time, but it's gonna happen. So be careful with how you treat people. Yeah. But anyway, that's my PSA. I have food to eat. And for the good of all and the harm to none. And saying prayers for humanity. Well, prayers for me. I gotta be selfish in all of this. I gotta put me first, Lucius. I gotta put me first. And no harm placed upon me shall prosper. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No setups, no, whatever. It fails, it backfires. And like I said, all traps intended for me backfire. You know, um, you know, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I'm trying to remember. C'est un tranquille Paris. Non. Ne c'est pas tranquille. No. Is that the right word? I don't know. I gotta tap back into my French. But tap back into the French. Um, Speaking of tapping back into the French, I had an idea. of something that I wanted to work on. And I guess, maybe people have already seen that idea. Who knows? Um, yeah. But everything's gonna work out. No weapon formed against me gonna prosper. Everything's gonna work out for the greater good. And I look forward to it, and I'm excited. And I just hope that, it happens sooner rather than later. And I'm just in alignment, in the right mindset, in the right health. You know, knocking out this fucking cold. The mucus stops. The mucus ends. The mucus is done. And I can breathe clearly. And the coughing stops. Sneezing stops. Runny nose stops. Mucus stops. All of this shit just stops. And I'm in the best tip top shape and health. And I align with the right foods and herbs and tinctures and immune shots and whatever to help elevate my health in that way. And I'm able to afford it because the money flows to me. There's people, whether it's all people. Usually I resonate with like black folks, but all people from different walks of life that resonate with my situation and help to support, whether it give like, a few dollars or $10 for the CD, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, because those would be my rates to perform, and opportunities will start um, building for me to acquire that income. And then whatever it is that I need to do in order to receive $1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, I'm in alignment with that. And there's no limitations to what I can do because everything I do is a win. And, I rebuke all blockages. And everything's going to work out. And I just need to be in alignment with my spirit guides and God, my angels, and allies and people who support me and who help me and who want to see me win, and eliminate anything that tries to come up against it. You know, it's my turn. It's my season. It's my turn to win. It don't matter what the situation is because I already won for one, but it's my turn. I'm putting me first, and everything's going to work out. So that's my birthday message to me, even though it's technically my birthday's already done. But it was a chill day or whatever. Not really. It could have been better, but I enjoyed my gift to myself. My gift to myself was the sun, and I did that. And hopefully the temperatures can increase and stay up. It was really nice today. It just needs to continue to be nice for all of the rest of the winter. 60, 70-degree weather all week, sunshine, clear skies, still air. The air is relaxed. And if it's a breeze, it's a warm one. I love a good warm breeze, especially like in the summertime, or at least when it feels like summer. And it's nighttime, like, those nights when it's like comfortable outside. It's not like cold or chilly, but it's just like nice and warm. And if it's like a breeze and it's like a warm breeze, I love a good night like that. Or especially like, actually, I'll save that for a different time because, whatever. But, those days where it's just like nice and warm and it's comfortable, not too hot, but it's like, nice. And you could, sit outside, get things done. You don't have to wear too many layers. You'll be comfortable. I love when there's like a week forecast like that. Where it's just like back to back, day to day to day to day to day, week to week to week. You know, maybe it might be like a little rain or drizzle or whatever to cool things off. But when you're indoors, it's fine. It doesn't matter. But you know, to you know, enjoy the sun. So even though in this physical world, my birthday could have been more, but a shout out to a new friend of mine that I made, I guess. Um, you know, they got me this hotel room and they got me some food, some Wendy's because all I do is win. Shout out to I1. Shout out to Infatual World of Neptune and everybody that's purchased it. Shout out to, you know, the creativity and the bars of it all. Like, it don't matter what the situation is because I already won. I already won. All these mini me's is my sons. Bitch, I'm number one. Neo Mac, I'm the one. Yeah. And abundance is upon me one of these days. Tomorrow, today, yesterday, all days. I break away from limitation, and I make the money that I need to make so I can relocate and move to a better town. Because I don't know, I just feel like maybe Orlando isn't for me, and that's okay. You know, um, so maybe that's my cue to like not get comfortable out here. But I still need to make some money so I can make the money to like move. So like let's get that going. So it's like all right, cool. Let me, and I still have to like pay for things and make sure like I'm in good standing with like my storage units and my gym memberships and stuff like that and all those things and like phone bills and all of that. Like all of that should be in good standing. But I need to, if Orlando isn't for me, then it's not for me. And I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe it's somewhere else. And that's fine too. Um, yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that's my message. I'm gonna eat my food now. And we shall see. Much love, much love, much love. And have a good night. God prepares a table for me in the presence of my enemies and anoints my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life, and I dwell in the house of the Lord. So it is, so it will be. Gratitude for what's been. Amen. Amen. Ashe. Have a good night. I know I did a partial prayer, but that was intentional. But it's all good though.